Hello everyone, what is up? So I am here. I'm about to do a set review. I understand I'm a little late to the party on this, but I was waiting for the English scans to come up. I was going to do it very early with the Japanese scan, but I was like, okay, let me just wait for the English scans. However, I got really busy. It's been my birthday month, so yeah, I've just been so busy. So now I'm finally getting back to doing more content. So I just feel like I have to do this set review. It's kind of obligatory. So I'm just going to run through the set really quickly. The set didn't change much, which was another thing. I was kind of dragging myself to do it. I was like, who really wants to talk about evolutions? There might be 2 or 3 cards that have affected the format out of this set. But other than that, things have pretty much remained the same. But I don't know. One of the cards is very influential to the standard format. So we will see what happens here. So I'll talk about that a little later. So Venusaur EX is the first one here, of course, because we start with grass now. So these are reprints, I believe, of the older cards. So we have Venusaur EX, Poison Powder, Jungle Hammer, pretty mediocre. Then we have Venusaur EX with Crisis Vine. It does 4 for 120 and it has auto paralysis. Now there are some people that are kind of playing this for league play as of now for fun, and I do think that it can be an option. I do like this Venusaur, not for competitive again. I do like the idea of Crisis Vine. I love auto paralysis. Paralysis is one of my favorite things because it's kind of like a guarantee. Your opponent can switch out of it, but once you have them in paralysis, they have little outs, I guess you can say, to get out of it, because with sleep is kind of like a 50-50 chance that they stay asleep. With paralysis is like they're paralyzed, and at that point they need to have a switch, AZ or something to get out of it. And as we know, AZ is not in the standard format, so it gives even less outs. I don't think, and a lot of decks rely on float stones now, which Floatstone is not an out to paralysis. So I really do like Mega Venusaur EX. Alright, so we have Caterpie, Metapod. I'm going to kind of pass through over the ones that are not really doing much. Weedle, Poison Sting, Kakuna, Stiffen. So these are all throwbacks to the older sets. It's so interesting to see them now. Beedrill. Okay, so this is another one that has gotten a bit of buzz. Get it? Buzz? Oh, Lord. So it has Swarming Sting. So the interesting thing about this attack is it does 40 damage times the number of Beedrill in play. And Beedrill has been known for having attacks that do damage for each Beedrill you have in play, because it's kind of like a bee, get it, swarm. And it was actually one of the first, I think the first competitive deck I built was Beedrill, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Wow, that was so long ago. But this attack does 40 damage times the number of Beedrill you have in play to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So it can do 120 Snipe, which could knock out a Shaman and take 2 prizes. I think that's why a lot of people are, kind of hyping it up. But to me, Latias, or no, not Latias, Latios EX, Mega Latios EX, kind of does the same thing for less of an investment. And also has a free retreat cost and more HP. So I don't know why people are so excited about Beedrill. There is Giant Forest of Plants. There is a lower, it has a pretty low energy cost. But I think maybe if it did it for one grass, I think it would be a lot more viable. But as of now, I think it's just kind of like this is another fun deck. And we also have Volcanion in the format, and Beedrill is weak to fire, so you don't ever want to be weak to fire in a format with Volcanion, because Volcanion is already fast as it is. Alright, so we have Tangela. I've always liked this art. This art is very cool. Bind and Poison Powder. Then we have our beautiful Charmander, Charmeleon, and then Charizard, the classic Charizard. A lot of people, and I think this carries like a $10 price tag, somewhere around there, even though to me it's completely unplayable. But I think it's just the nostalgia factor with it. It has Energy Burn. All energy attached to this Pokemon are fire energy instead of their usual type, and it also has Fire Spin, which does 200 damage now, which is a lot. That's knocking out a lot of things. So it's pretty cool. I think this will be another thing, like if you want to play it for fun, or just get it for your collection, that's also cool. Then we have Charizard EX. I think this is a reprint. Yeah, this is a reprint of the earlier one. I think it was in Flashfire. It has Combustion Bass for 150. People played this in Pyroar. I remember that. Because you could Muscle Band it and it would hit for 170. So this is a reprint of that. We also have Mega Charizard EX, which does 300 damage. And then this Pokemon does 50 damage to itself for 5 energies. That is a hefty attack cost Charizard. Like, why don't they ever make playable? You know, that's a one thing. You know, Charizard has always been a very popular Pokemon, but they rarely gets playable copies of itself. I remember, I think there was one Charizard that was playable during the Diamond and Pearl era, maybe. But yeah, that's a pretty whack attack. All right, so now we have Vulpix, classic Vulpix, classic Ninetales. The Ninetales got beefed up a bit. Now Fire Blast does 120, discarding a single energy. We have Lure, which is a pretty cool attack. Then we have Ninetales Break. Now let me tell you, I was so excited about this card. I was like, oh, this looks like it could be really interesting because of Explosive Fireball. So it has 140 HP, and Explosive Fireball does 10 damage plus. 10 damage plus 90 for each fire energy card, or no, not 90, but 60 plus for each energy card discarded this way. So essentially it costs 2. So if you have 2 fire energies on Ninetales, it's doing 2 for 130. And that's pretty good. Now, and then when you go up to 3, you're doing 190. So whereas Charizard up here takes 4 to do 200, Ninetales can do 3 for 190. Which 3 energy is a lot different from 4 energy when it comes to energy cost. And then the energies are going away, so it has really good synergy. Like, can expand it with the God. Why can't I think of its name? The fire supporter, Blacksmith. There we go. All right, so it has really good synergy with Blacksmith because you can just Blacksmith 2 energies back to Ninetales and use the attack again very easily and hit for 190. And 190 knocks out a lot of things. And if you do need that 4th energy and you get it on Ninetales, you can possibly hit for 250. Now, I did try to make some kind of version of the deck for Expanded, but it didn't work out too well. The problem that it has is that the other, it wants to play too many cards and it can't really fit it. So I'm still kind of playing with it for Expanded to see if it could possibly do any type of work, because I think that it's a decent card. I don't think it should be too overlooked. And then the other Ninetales from Dragon's Exalted, it has the Lure ability, it has Hex, which is a decent attack. It can hit pretty hard for 1 energy. The only problem I have is, like, the format has just gotten so fast now. It's hard to keep a 90 HP Pokemon in play, especially a stage 1 90 HP Pokemon. So again, maybe I'll play with Ninetales some more, or maybe I'll just scrap it. But I think that this is a card that has potential as long as it's in the format, because it can hit very high depending on how you run it. I think that depending on the support that comes out for fire Pokemon, this may or may not get a lot better in the future. Alright, Growlithe. Alright, so we have Growlithe and Arcanine. Arcanine has Burning Road. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn, you may move any number of fire energy cards attached to your Pokemon to this Pokemon. Scorching Breath for 150 damage. I don't know, Arcanine. Like, to me, Arcanine is also pretty mediocre. Yeah, 4 energies for 150, and then you can't attack during your next turn. Like, why would I ever play this? So, Volcanion just outclasses it so much. Ponyta, it's classic Ponyta. I don't think there was a Rapidash in the base set. Magmar, looking cool there. Fire Punch, Flamethrower. Then we have Blastoise EX. So this is also another reprint. Rapid Spin, Splash Bomb, and Mega Blastoise has Hydro Bombard. It does 120 damage, and then it does 30-30 to your opponent's bench. So it's kind of like a beefed up Dark Sphere. I think that Blastoise could be explored simply because grass weakness is a really good weakness to have right now. There are not a lot of strong grass decks in Standard. In addition, it now has the Spirit Link, and you could possibly Pele Max Elixir with it to kind of speed it up a bit. The only problem I have with Blastoise is that it kind of gets outclassed by Kyogre, and then I kind of ask myself, I'm like, okay, well, why don't people play Kyogre? If, seemingly Kyogre seems like it would be pretty decent now that I think about it. But I don't know if it's the 4 energy versus the 3 energy makes a big difference. I don't know. Like sometimes you might say to yourself, okay, well, Kyogre, it already has energy acceleration, X, Y, and Z. But when you think about it, is it really that big of a difference? The 3 energies versus the 4 energies. And sometimes it is a factor. But Kyogre, to me, has so many good things going for it. Like we have Manaphy. It has the alpha ability. It's weak to grass. It has like 250 HP. I think that it could be decent. I don't know. But I feel as though if you're thinking about playing Mega Blastoise, I don't see why Kyogre would be any worse. Like its attack is better. Its stats are better. So maybe we'll pass on thinking about playing Blastoise. Although you might be playing Kyogre and realize that those 4 energies might be a bit too much. All right, so Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. I really like the Poly family outside of Poliwrath. I really like Politoed a lot better. But again, this is based on the first generation. So it has Dashing Punch, 50 damage. If this Pokemon was on your bench, it became your active Pokemon this turn. It does 50 more damage. Whirlpool, discard energy attack to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this Pokemon looks like it'll be sitting in the binder most of the time. We have Slowbro EX shot out. Every time I see Slowbro, I think of Omar because it's his favorite Pokemon. So Slowbro has Slack Off, heals 60 damage from this Pokemon. This Pokemon can attack during your next turn. Why? Flash Splash, 100 damage. Now Slowbro, I believe, was released as a promo in Japan, so maybe that's why it's so meh. Then we have Mega Slowbro EX, Low Roll Spin. Of course, it would have a name like that. This Pokemon is now confused. During your next turn, this attack does 100 more damage. Well, basically 200 damage. Again, another Pokemon that I don't think we'll be seeing much play. But it's nice that we did get Mega Slowbro. I wish it could be defensive. Like, I wish they were able to give Megas abilities. Because I think that would be so interesting. But unfortunately, Mega Pokemon just get attacks. I guess they don't want to overpower them too much. However, we do have Pokemon coming out, the GX Pokemon, which are going to have abilities the same amount of HP as the Mega Pokemon. So, but you can't get upset because we need evolutions. Like, I'm tired of playing with big basics. So we have Seal, another reprint, Dugong, Super Deep Dive, heal 40, and switch this with one of your bench. Takedown does 90. Dugong is another Pokemon who I feel like just never gets love. It doesn't get love in the TCG. It doesn't get love in the video game. I want them to print a playable Dugong because Dugong is a Pokemon that, you could very easily forget about. Like, you just forget it exists. So, yeah, that's Dugong. Staryu, Quick Blow, wow, okay. Yeah, let's not go there. Alright, Starmie. It has the ability Space Beacon, 90 HP, doesn't have a free retreat cost, which kind of bugs me because I feel like Starmie is pretty fast. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. And then it has Star Freeze, does 30 damage. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. I actually might need to test this in Volcanion. So a lot of people were talking about playing Starmie in Volcanion. I don't know if I necessarily like it because I feel like if you play Starmie in Volcanion, you end up losing more to Garbodor, and you already have a tough enough Garbodor matchup as it is. So I'm a little iffy on the Starmie. I was talking to Gansman he was on stream the other night, and he was talking about how he feels as though the deck Volcanion really benefits from Starmie and it should play it now. I'm not convinced on that, but I do like Starmie's ability. I think that is something that can be put into use, especially for the long term, and is always an option when it comes to Volcanion. It gives the deck Volcanion more options, so I do like it for that. But as far as it being a must in the deck, I don't know. I would have to test it some more. But yeah, that's Starmie. And then we have Starmie Break. How could I forget? So this is another Break Pokemon that came out, debuted in this set. So it has Break Star. For 1 water, it does 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon Break. Like, that is crazy. Unfortunately, the only Break decks we really have that are popular are Greninja and Trevenant, so I don't think that Break decks are popular enough to really play Starmie Break, but it is a pretty cool card. And, Break Evolutions, I think, are going away with Sun and Moon. So we have Magikarp, Flail. This attack does 10 damage times, classic Magikarp. And then we have Gyarados, which they reprinted Gyarados, but it's like so unplayable. Look at this Dragon Rage attack. 4 water energies, flip 2 coins. If either of them is tails, this attack does nothing. So it's like it has a 25% chance, I believe, of doing something pretty darn bad. Yeah, but 180 damage is a lot, but for 4 water energies, girl, please. So we also have Pikachu. So this is the classic, the fat Pikachu. This is another thing a lot of people probably just want just to have. We have Raichu, one of my favorites. Energize, attach an energy, lightning energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon, then Spark Bolt. You may discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 70 more damage. Maybe if this was printed during the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, this could have been good, but not by today's standards. Magnemite and Magneton. This is before Magnezone was made. Thunder Wave. Flip a coin of heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed. Self-destruct. 80. Does 80 damage to itself. The nice thing about these are that, this was during a time where these Pokemon didn't have evolutions. So, like, for example, this Magneton is a star. So, let's say a playable Magnezone comes out, we would have a better Magneton because at this time when these cards were printed, they gave the Pokemon like Magneton before they had evolutions, better abilities, if that makes sense. So I like that. Continuous Tumble, Voltorb, Electrode, so it has Bazap, Thunder. That's a weird, why doesn't it just be Bazap? Once during your turn, before you attack, you may knock out this Pokemon and attach it to one of your lightning Pokemon as a special energy card. This card provides 2 lightning energy only while this card is attached to a Pokemon. Now, if it wasn't just lightning Pokemon, I think this would be decent. But it's only lightning Pokemon, so I don't know how Electrode is going to go. It's not like we have Pal Hand Extension. Like, we had Electrode EX that did something a bit better, but it gave up 2 prizes. But at that time, we had, like, Pal Hand Extension to kind of counteract any advantage our opponent would get. And we also had something like N, which is called Rocket's Admin. So I don't think that this Electrode would be able to be abused in the way that the Electrode EX was in the past, simply because you have to attach to lightning Pokemon. Electabuzz, Thunder Shock, Thunder Punch. Okay, it's pretty cool. This Electabuzz actually used to be good, but not anymore. And then Zapdos. Zapdos is just so bad. Like, all these energies, and then at 90 damage, 170 damage to discard 4 lightning energies. Zapdos, oh my god, no. It doesn't have a weakness, though. That's interesting. Alright, so we have Nidoran Male, Nidorino, Nidoking, Rumble, 40 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat. Tail Swing, 100 damage. Does 20 damage to each of your opponents. To each of your opponents. Bench basic Pokemon. You just get worse and worse, Nidoking. Then we have Nidoking Break with 180 HP. What is Nidoking? Yeah, of course, he's weak to Psychic. Toxic Drill, 120 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 2 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. Nah. Ghastly, a Little Grudge. I like that name. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack, discard an energy card attached to the attacking Pokemon. Okay, cool. Hunter. And I don't think Gengar, I think, came out in Fossil. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. And then we have Dream Eater that does 80. I think it did less than that before, but that's pretty cool. It's weak to dark, resist fighting, typical ghost stats. Drowsy, Pound, and Confuse Ray. Coughing, which is now Psychic type instead of the previous Grass type. I still kind of think about this, and I'm like, do I still like, poison Pokemon being considered given the purple cards, or do I still, I don't know. A part of me feels like I still would prefer them to be grass. But that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, now they're Psychic type. Flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poison. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. And then we have Mewtwo. Another classic reprint, Psychic, 20 damage, 20 more damage for each energy card attached to your opponent's Pokemon. This could be a counter for Mega Mewtwo, maybe, but I don't necessarily see it. They still need a lot of damage for you to one-shot them. And then Barrier, you can prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon. which that's a pretty cool attack. But I don't think you would be using it much. All right, so Mega Mewtwo, excuse me, not Mega Mewtwo, but Mewtwo EX, and I think this is a reprint of. It looks similar to Rocket's Mewtwo, so it has energy absorption, regeneration, Psyburn. I always love Pokemon with more than 2 attacks. Psyburn does 110 damage. Regeneration. It has a lot of options. Now, would you play this over the Damage Swap Mewtwo in the Mega Mewtwo deck? I don't think so, but I could see this just being thrown in some decks. Then we have Mew. I believe this is a promo in Japan that they've reprinted. I really like the art on it. Neutral Shield. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's evolution Pokemon. Psybolt, 30 damage. Flip a coin of heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. I can see this being something that is pretty annoying in certain formats, but prevent all effects of attack. It could be really good against Trev, possibly. They could always wob it, but it doesn't really get affected by Trev, and the Pokemon has to use Ascension, so I think that it could be cute against Trevenant, but we have Giratina coming out to deal with that. Greninja, it could be cute against Greninja. However, oh no, because if you could keep the ability offline, which I don't think that would really work because you need Mew's ability online. So not too good against your Greninja because they can just giant Water Shuriken and knock you out. So I don't know. I think that this might come into play later. The GX Pokemon are evolution Pokemon that are going to be coming out for the most part. I think except Lapras and Snorlax, but a lot of the more popular ones are evolutions. So this could come into play sooner or later. Sandshrew. Sand Attack, Diglett. I don't think it had an ability before. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attack. I like basic Pokemon that have little abilities that might protect them just a little bit. Like I know Squirtle in the past has had abilities that like Shell Armor, attacks do 10 less. So I do like when they give basic Pokemon abilities. Dugtrio /40 Earthquake 3 Fighting. When are you ever gonna get 3 Fighting on Dugtrio? This attack does 20 damage for each of your bench to each of your bench Pokemon. Girl, bye. Machop, Dual Chop, 20 damage. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 20 damage times the number of heads. All right, it has more HP. That's another classic card. Machoke, Machamp. These are all classic cards. Counter attack. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is damage, you can put 3 damage counters. I thought it was called, the old ability was called Strikes Back. It does 120 damage with Seismic Toss for 3 fighting energy. And then we have Machamp Break. Machamp Break has 190 HP, Boomerang Lariat. During your next turn, this Pokemon's attacks do 100 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. Trash. I'm sorry, this is pretty bad. Yeah, and then the energy cost, nah. Sorry, Machamp. Onix, another classic card. Hitmonchan, a good old haymaker. He's been buffed a bit, but I wish they would have gave him had these attacks do something. When the old cards come back that were in good decks, I want y'all to bring them back and beef them to the point where it's okay, I could possibly play that again. Y'all should have made a Hitmonchan EX with Jab 1 for 60. Now that probably would have been pretty silly. But yeah, it's cool to have, to see the Hitmonchan. It's a star. And yeah, it's cool. Clefairy, Sing. Flip a coin of heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. I think this is the only fairy Pokemon in the whole set. Metronome. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. If Metronome was worth 2 energies, just a DCE, oh, it would be so good. But unfortunately, it is worth 3 energy, so I don't think this will be seeing much play. In addition to that, they gave Clefairy only 40 HP. Y'all could have gave Clefairy 60. Come on now. So I don't think Clefairy will be used that much, but I could be wrong. There could be a point where it becomes playable. Pidgeot EX. I think this is actually one of the better EXs in the set. It has 170 HP. Mirror move. If this Pokemon was damaged by an attack During your opponent's last turn, this attack does the same amount of damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That could be pretty good in certain situations. Feather Dance, and it's only for 1 energy. This attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I really like that attack as well. 80 damage, 20 damage to each of your opponents. It's a solid attack. Or no, one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, excuse me. Alright, and then we have Mega Pidgeot EX. It has a 220 HP, Mach Cyclone, 130 damage. You may have your opponent switch his or her active Pokemon with one of the bench Pokemon. Again, 3 for 130 is pretty solid. It 2-shots just about everything. It has a free retreat cost. It's weak to Lightning, which isn't the worst weakness to have, I believe, in Standard. Yeah, Lightning is actually, it's actually one of the better weaknesses to have in Standard. So, Mega Pidgeot EX, I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. Is it going to be super competitive? Nah, I don't see it. It doesn't have that factor with it. Rattata, excuse me. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench, you may discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. This is good simply because, in certain decks. So, the Gardevoir Steam Siege deck, Mega Gardevoir, the Despair Ray, that has been getting really popular in the past couple of weeks. We'll talk about it more in a minute. But this will be able to play, it will be able to play Rattata. And the thing about it is that we don't have a lot of ways to get rid of tools. So I think that is one of the reasons that Rattata it's gaining popularity. Then we have Raticate, which isn't too bad itself. Crunch is an auto discard, and then Shadowy Bite, so that it has synergy in both of its attacks. It only attacks for 1 energy. This attack does 60 damage times the number of special energy cards in your opponent's discard pile. A lot of decks do actually run special energy at the moment, especially in Expanded, so this could be pretty decent. It also has a break to go with it. So the Raticate family has been getting a lot of love lately. We have Farfetch'd, Leak Slap 1 for 50. Oh god, what if you got dunked by a Farfetch? And it can't use Leak Slap during your opponent's next turn. We have Duo, Chansey, another classic card. Scrunch, flip a coin of heads, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks. During your opponent's next turn, Double Edge does 80 damage. This Pokemon does 80 damage to itself. And, the thing about this Chansey, one thing I remember is I was interviewing Steven Silvestro for a video I was doing about Pokemon at my school. He's a former world champion. And he said when he got into the game, he had, I don't remember, I think he said he found a pack on the floor, or he found some cards outside on the ground, and one of the cards he saw, one of the first rares he saw was Chansey from base set. So that's something that I'll always remember about this card. Porygon. Conversion 3. Okay, so this is Porygon. It can convert its type. Oh, well, no, it can convert the weakness of your opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, that could be cute, but I don't think it's too good. Alright, and then the big daddy of them all in this set, Dragonite EX. It has the ability to pull up. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may put 2 basic Pokemon, except for Dragonite EX. That would be pretty silly. From your discard pile into your hand. So the reason that Dragonite EX is so good is that it can get back Shaymins, it can get back Hoopa, which in turn can get Shaymins and other EXs in your deck. We were looking at that Rattata earlier right now. You could get back that. There are some other Pokemon that have benching effects like Absol, Halucha. So this Pokemon, it can kind of bring you back into the game in certain decks, especially Gardevoir. You can Despair Ray, discard so many of your basics on your bench, and then, just Dragonite, pull up Hoopa, pull up Shaymin, and then come back into the game very, very easily. So this Dragonite is going to affect the standard format a lot. And it has a good weakness in Lightning, which, again, there's not a lot of things that really hit really hard that are Lightning in Standard right now, so you really don't have to worry about it being threatened while it's on your bench. It does have a 3 retreat cost, so it doesn't want to get stuck active. But other than that, this Dragonite is really, really good. It's probably the most expensive card, or one of the more expensive cards in the set, and I think that it pushes not only the Gardevoir deck, but also Rayquaza. I was playing a Rayquaza online, and I used Parallel City on them, and then they went down to 3. And on their turn, they like Skyfield, Dragonite, get a Hoopa, get a Shaman, Super Rod, Hoopa, pull out 3 more cards, Shaman, and I'm like, oh my god, they've just came back out of, they came they came out of that terrible position out of nowhere simply because of this pull up ability. So look out for Dragonite in the next coming weeks. So we have some Spirit Links, Blastoise, Brock's Grit, shuffle 6 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Whew, that's pretty cool. Karen does something. Well, no, Karen is both players. So you have this, you have Super Rod, and you have Karen. So I think this might be played depending on the type of deck you're running. Maybe you do need those energy back, like 3 energy and 3 Pokemon. Maybe you can't afford to play a Brock's Grit. So I like that it gives us options. De-Evolution Spray, that is a reprint. Energy Retrieval, reprint. I love that they're reprinting these older cards with the old trainer. Like, I wish they still printed trainers that look like this. I love the way that these trainers look. I just do. I don't know why. We have Full Heal, Maintenance, which sometimes I'm playing and I'm like, I wish I had a Maintenance right now. Shuffle 2 cards from your hand into your deck. Not that I would ever play it, but there are some situations where you think to yourself, okay, I don't want to Sycamore this hand. If I had like a Maintenance, just go Maintenance and Sycamore. We have Misty's Determination, discard a card from your hand. I think this is already printed more recently. If you do look at the top 8 cards and put 1 into your hand, pretty it can be good in certain situations. I was playing it in one deck. I forgot what deck I played it in. Pokedex, look at the top 5 cards and put them back in any order. Why would anybody ever want to play that? Potion, with the updated text, heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. Professor Oak's hint, draw until you have 7. Your turn ends. Like, why would they do this? I think that they could have printed this that just said draw until you have 7 cards. Like, it's still not as good as the old one because the old one obviously was a item. Like, I don't get it. Like, why are we ending turns for drawing until we have 7? Like, we had Bianca that was 6. Like, what does it hurt one more card into our hand? I swear they hate printing good supporters. I don't get it. Revive, put a basic Pokemon from your discard pile into your bench. Super Potion, heal 60, discard a card. We got Switch. So the trainers are pretty mediocre. And then we have energy. The double colorless looks really, really cool. They're pretty expensive for the reverse of those. I love that we have the fairy energy in the classic art. I want to get playset of all these energies. Well, this one, and this one. I already have these up here and the older versions that you can still play. And then we have the full arts. These look really, really cool, really, really beautiful full arts in here. A lot of people don't like the fact that they have the older design still in the full arts. Oh, well. Oops, my bad. Oh, God. Alright, so I've gone through the entire set. Let me know what you guys think. Where was I at? Oh, wait. Let me know what you guys think. I think the biggest thing to take away from this set is the fact that Dragonite came out and it made Rayquaza in the Gardevoir deck a lot better. I think Gardevoir is being hyped to the max, and I love it. Please hype it because I'm sick of people playing Mewtwo EX. I hate that deck. I hate playing against it. So I think if Gardevoir gets the popularity it deserves, Mewtwo might fizzle out of the format, and we might end up having Scizor resurge because Gardevoir has, it's near impossible for that deck to beat Scizor. Like, Scizor just walks all over you. And then if Scizor comes back, then Volcanion gets good again. So we might have like a rock, paper, scissors. Get it? Scizor. Rock, paper, scissor type of format. But although Volcanion can beat Scizor and it can beat Gardevoir, but it has problems against Mewtwo. But I think if Gardevoir gets hyped up to the point that it is, that people are going to stop playing Mega Mewtwo. And I really, really do think that Dark is always going to be good. But again, the Darkrai Giratina deck, it doesn't deal with Gardevoir too well because they can just Hexmaniac, knock out your Giratinas very, very simply. Gardevoir has resistance to Darkrai, so it's going to be shaping up to be a pretty interesting format. Let me just say that much. But the only thing I'm hoping is just that people stop playing Mewtwo. Like, I absolutely hate playing against Mewtwo. And it's probably just because of the decks that I play. But yeah, so Dragonite EX, if you don't have them, please go ahead and pick them up. Try the deck out. I might be testing it myself a little bit later. But if everybody's playing it, I don't know. I've never been the type to play decks that everyone plays. So that was my review of this set, Evolutions. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.